Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Christian Zahler. I'm the CEO of Industrial Solar.
And I'm Tobias Schwind. I'm the CFO from Industrial Solar.
Joachim Bieström already explained you a little bit about us and Absolicon, our corporation, the synergies, and now we're going to explain you in more detail who we are, what we do, and why we do it. So, who we are. We are a company based in Freiburg in the Black Forest in Germany, and we founded our company in 2008 in the environment of the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy Systems, which is the largest research institution in Europe for solar energy. And nowadays, we are the world leader in funnel projects for industrial process heat, and we are delivering turnkey solutions for industry to reduce the emissions. So let me start with our motivation, why we do it. There you see a photo of Seattle in the year 1906. Basically, you see industrial area, smoking chimneys. And since then, the symbol of successful industry or of industry are smoking chimneys. 100 years later, this is a photo of industrial zone in the US, Muscatine, Iowa. What you see? Smoking chimneys. What has changed? You can say the efficiency has changed. There are less emissions, but we are burning much more than 100 years ago. So the carbon emissions of humankind, they have developed to a level that we all know that it's a threat to our future. And industry contributes a rather large fraction to that. Here you see a pie chart of the global energy demand, and industry is responsible for about 1/3 of our primary energy demand. Another third transportation, another third residential. If you look at the energy demand of industry, you realize that electricity is not so important. This is similar to the slide that Joachim showed. He showed that 20% of the worldwide primary energy demand is only electricity, and the rest is 50% are heat and cold, and the rest is for transportation. And if you look at the energy demand of industry, you realize that only 25% are required in form of electric energy. The rest is heat for cooking, drying, sterilization, and so on and so on. So until now, we mainly use fossil fuels to cover this heat demand in the industry. The problem is you don't get fossil fuel everywhere. It's limited. When you burn it, you generate emissions, it's polluting, it's costly, and there are even wars for fossil fuels. Whereas solar energy, you got it almost everywhere, if you don't think of polar night, really far up north. It's abundant, it's clean, free, and peaceful. And now the whole picture. You see the industry demand, how we did it in the past, and how we're going to do it in the future. There you see the collector of Absolicon, the parabolic trough, and our Fresnel collector. The parabolic trough has its advantages. The Fresnel collector has its advantages. It can generate higher temperatures. It can directly generate steam. It's designed for higher power. So it's a perfect match with the technology of Absolicon. The global heat demand is tremendous. So we're talking about a multi-billion market. So the bright green pie of this chart is representing the industrial heat demand in those specific continents or countries. And you see it's basically everywhere significant. Many countries it's more than 50%, but it's always significant. So it's a huge, huge market for solar heat for industry. This is a more precise, a more detailed analysis of the industrial energy demand, of the heat demand. So you see 25% electricity, or 26 to be precise, 74% heat. This is currently covered mainly with coal, natural gas, and oil, a little bit of renewables. And if you look more closely at the heat demand, then you see there is a low temperature heat demand, up to 150, which is a perfect match with the parabolic trough of Absolicon. There is a medium temperature heat demand in the range of like 22%, between 150 and 400. That's a perfect match with our Fresnel technology. And there is a high temperature heat demand, like for glass production, metal production, that we cannot cover currently, or that cannot be covered with linear concentrating technologies. This is more for point focusing. This is the next step in the future. So here I want to pass over.
And now if we take a look about where does the energy come from, mainly today it comes from fossil fuels. And what I've not been aware of is that per minute, $10 million are spent from all the countries on our globe to subsidize fossil fuels. This is a huge amount. And burning fossil fuels is not right for saving our climate and globe. And subsidies, such kind of subsidies, they will decrease the next years. And by decreasing these subsidies, the energy prices will increase. And also, if you do a lot of subsidies as a country, like Egypt, for example, which uses 50% of the annual budget for subsidizing energy, fossil energy, means that you have not enough money available for education, for health, or for infrastructure projects. So it meaning reducing fossil fuel subsidies means having more money available for better things and to have a real energy price increase, which is required. So another topic is to look at the development of the climate finance. So the climate or the Paris Agreement has given a huge commitment to invest into renewable energies to save our climate. And today we already spent a lot of money, but according to the newest studies, these investments will increase considerably over the next decades. There will be much more money available for climate and impact investments. And also, the industry, which are using and consuming so much energy, they have built up collaborations, and there's one collaboration which has committed itself to 100% renewable energy generation or consumption. And also here in Sweden, Kia or H&M, they are also committed and part of this collaboration network. So there's a huge momentum taking place for our activities. First of all, the industry means that we have increasing solar process heat demand, decreasing fossil fuel subsidies, as I just described. Then the sustainability becomes more and more a shareholder value. Companies are concerned about that to reduce their carbon footprint, to improve their carbon footprint. Then we also expect in some countries and more countries obligations to use renewable energies. And as Christian already mentioned, it's an extremely large market. At the same time, climate finance, as I just shown on the last slide, will heavily increase. And there are also carbon tax laws upcoming, which will have additional motivation to reduce carbon emissions. We, as Industrial Solar, we also have a good momentum right now due to the restart with Absolicon. We now are teaming up with Absolicon as a strategic partner and investor, and we could take over all our activities and assets and team to restart the company. And now we are moving towards our technology section.
So let me explain the Fresnel principle. You all know the parabolic trough that Joachim explained before. The Fresnel basically is an approximation. Some of you might still remember the overhead projectors that we had in school. This was also Fresnel lens. Basically, in a Fresnel collector, you cut the parabolic trough in slices, bring the slices down to one level, and you track them uniaxially. And such you can concentrate the sunlight onto an absorber tube. There we use a vacuum receiver, which is also used for CSP power plants. And we have a secondary mirror on top, which is reflecting the sunlight, which does not hit directly onto the back of the absorber tube. And it's also protecting the absorber tube from top. So it's a modular design. We like to do very long strings. This is just an example with 3 strings. We would not build such a short system in reality. On top you see the secondary, on the bottom you see the primary mirrors, which are uniaxially tracked. So we couple the mirrors in series and we use one electric drive to track up to 12 mirrors. And through the absorber tube we can circulate different heat transfer media. Typically we use pressurized water We are specialists and known for direct steam generation, but we can also use thermal oil if the customers really want high temperatures. Well, that's an example. That's an installation in Germany. This is a string with about 80 meters, 84 meters or something, and it was used with pressurized water for driving an absorption chiller. But here you can nicely see the primary mirrors. On top is the receiver with the vacuum receiver and the secondary mirror, and they already see the advantage. With the Fresnel collector, you can go on rooftops. It has a very low wind resistance, and the mirrors are very close to the ground or to the rooftop. Another example for another technology that we offer, where we offer turnkey systems with this technology. This is a so-called air collector. It's a proprietary design. It's the so-called Sunstorm, and this installation is at Pfizer actually, and is heating air for a drying process. So what was a very important development for us as a company, we were developing from a collector, developer, manufacturer to a turnkey provider. So we provide full service to the customer. We are a one-stop shop nowadays. When we meet a customer, we are helping him to analyze his energy demand, and then we offer him a complete system based on different technologies. This can go from photovoltaics for the electric energy demand, over air collectors for hot air for drying, over parabolic trough for lower temperatures, or Fresnel for higher temperatures. And we also offer solar cooling, which is very nice in combination with process heat. So we also install absorption chillers, double effect absorption chillers for process cold industry. And very important in this turnkey business is the so-called balance of plant, which is the periphery of the collector. There we have built up a very strong know-how, so we know exactly how to integrate those solar technologies into the existing industrial facilities. Turnkey solutions for industry. This is a view of an industrial hall. Oops, sorry. You see on the left-hand side a Fresnel collector field providing heat. On the right-hand side, a PV field. The heat is partly used for driving an absorption chiller, providing cold to air handling unit. There is a backup system, and you see the production line. And there are many, many applications out there. There are just a few of them are listed. Oil and chemical industry, metal automotive industry. You probably don't know that the paint of a car is consuming a lot of energy because it's not only dried, it's hardened. Basically, they put the car's body into an oven, like a pizza oven, heated up to 200 degrees C. And this process of hardening the paint on a car's body needs as much energy as if you drive the car for 40,000 kilometers. So there are applications in industry you have never heard of, and they all need heat. Pharmaceutical industry, paper, textile, dyeing of textiles, washing, and food. I mean, you can imagine food, everything that comes in cans, which is not fresh in your fridge, which is not vegetable or fruit. Is it ketchup? Is it beer? Is it bread? Everything needs heat. Some references, this installation in South Africa at MTN, the largest telephone provider of Africa, mobile telephone networks. And this system was installed in 2014. It's operated with pressurized water, has 484 square meters collector area, and has a power which is equivalent to a power of 272 kilowatt, and it's operating a double effect absorption chiller. And the approach was to air condition the data center of this telephone provider. Another example, a direct steam generation system installed in 2015 in Amman in Jordan. The customer is Ram Pharma. It's a pharmaceutical company. They're producing a variety of medicaments which are exported also to the Emirates, to the neighboring countries. They have a system of 400 square meters generating steam at 200 degrees C, which is fed into the steam grid of the company. Our latest project, also in Amman, Jordan, built last year. The customer is JTI, Japan Tobacco International. It's a tobacco company, and they have a larger system with 1,254 square meters aperture providing more than 700 kilowatt thermal power, and the system provides steam, saturated steam at temperatures of 225. At this system, we have realized a combination of heat and cold, as the production is not operating 7 days a week, but only 5 or 6. They can use the heat also to power an absorption chiller, and the cold, there's always need for cold, even on the weekends. An absorption chiller is basically a machine which is converting heat to cold. Another example for an air collector. This is again Pfizer. So they did like the performance of the first system so much that they decided to go for a second system. It's a bit bigger. It's 182 square meters. The collectors are inclined. Whereas in the first installation, the collectors were parallel to the rooftop. And this system is used for the same process. It's drying of pills, basically. So,
here we have an overview about the synergies with Absolicon. They're very in all sectors, so to say. First of all, the collector technology, that we can clearly differentiate between the temperature range, so depending on the specific application at the customer side. Then we can join forces for engineering activities, for components, or for the collector technology, also to apply together for public-funded R&D projects or internally focusing projects. And then also from a business model, we can have synergies in regard of selling production lines and also selling solutions. Then we address similar markets, similar regions, and similar end customers, so to say. And we can also develop together projects at specific customer sites, and also to join forces to find financing instruments or develop financing instruments in specific industries. Yeah. So what did we achieve since we started in 2008, when we focused on delivering and producing the Fresnel collector, and we moved our company being capable to deliver solar energy turnkey solutions. Because we have done a lot of installations at the early years by only delivering the collector, but we supported the customer to integrate the collector. And by doing so, we gathered a lot of experience and expertise to deliver nowadays turnkey solutions with different type of technologies. Because the customer, he has to be competitive in his core business. He does not want to have a huge project to coordinate with different suppliers. He wants to talk to one supplier and who delivers him a turnkey solution and ensures that the integration works smooth without the interruption of his own production. So here you see the network of our last activities or years we have set up in regard of research partners for different product and system developments, also for the integration of our systems, and we have partners for selling our solutions in different countries, and we also have quite bundle of customers. And we have received from renowned award juries some awards over the last years. Yeah. Summing up, we think that the market has a huge potential and it's picking up for the industry. The interest is getting bigger and bigger. They're looking out for such kind of solutions, turnkey solutions, and they also expect and are willing to invest. They reduce the expectations of the payback time or increase them from 2 to 3 years, which is a typical investment period. In regard of renewables, they are open for longer payback times. And we, as a small company, already received a huge amount of requests over the last years, summing up to 2,800 megawatt peak capacity. And also, we are a small company. We already have the most Fresnel system installed for industrial applications compared to our growing number of competitors. And from a technology point of view, we have a unique technology with our Fresnel collector, also with the air collector. We have a unique experience for engineering and delivering turnkey solutions abroad, or in different countries and regions. And we have a clear path to reduce our costs, to bring down the costs, to install it more efficient, and with less investments for our customers and with a higher margin for us. From business model, as Christian already described, We are delivering turnkey solutions, energy solutions, solar energy solutions as a one-stop shop. And we have already an international network with distribution partners and technology partners. And as you have seen in the slide before, that we have received already some awards. And we are looking to get listed at Spotlight and to use the proceeds for an accelerated product, system, and market development. And now we have also a short summary with a movie, which is luckily in Swedish, because we don't speak Swedish that much yet, but it will change.
Industrialiseringen och exploateringen av naturresurser har medfört stora framsteg för mänskligheten. Men idag måste vi ta itu med konsekvenserna. Enorma mängder olja, naturgas och kol måste idag förbrännas för att möta våra ständigt växande energibehov. Utsläppen belastar naturen och miljön. Vi behöver alternativ, i synnerhet för industrin som är ansvarig för en stor del av världens energiförbrukning och luftföroreningar. Industrin behöver stora mängder värme för att producera varor som kemikalier, läkemedel, mat och kläder. Hittills har den industriella processvärmen till största del kommit från förbränning av fossila bränslen. Vi har utvecklat en teknologi som kan ersätta olja och gas inom industrin med solenergi.
Christian Zahler.
Jag har varit med att grunda och är verkställande direktör på Industrial Solar. Jag har varit med att grunda Industrial Solar. Med det know-how som vi har tillägnat oss som koncentrerade solfångare och det faktum att industrin behöver mycket mer värmeenergi än elektrisk energi, låg det nära till hands för oss att utveckla en solfångarteknologi, speciellt för industritillämpningar. Det kan tyckas logiskt, men det hade hittills ingen gjort. Industrial Solar har specialiserat sig på att konstruera och installera solvärmesystem speciellt för behovet av industriell processvärme. Företagets speciella Fresnel-solfångare är marknadsledande och kan producera värme upp till 400 grader Celsius. Värmen från den koncentrerade solenergin kan sedan matas in i företagets värmesystem. De helautomatiska solfångarna följer solen under dagen från soluppgång till solnedgång. Detta gör dem extremt effektiva och de sparar både på miljön och på företagens bränslekostnader. För råvarorna blir allt dyrare medan solen däremot är fritt tillgänglig för oss varje dag. Marknadspotentialen för solenergi inom industrin är enorm. Allt fler företag vill gå från fossila bränslen till förnyelsebar energi.
Som VD för Absolicon har jag god överblick över solenergimarknaden. Industrial Solar har stor erfarenhet och deras imponerande installationer, bland annat av solånga på 2 industrier i Jordanien, är bevis för deras höga kompetens. Börsnoteringen av Industrial Solar är ett fantastiskt tillfälle att komma in i den nya bransch som ska växla från olja, gas och kol inom industrin till 0 i koldioxidutsläpp genom att använda solenergi. Tillsammans så är Industrial Solar och Absolicon väl positionerade för att genomföra omställningen till solenergi för processindustrier.
Med förnybar energi skonar man inte bara miljön, utan företagen sparar också pengar på lång sikt. Det gynnar inte bara företaget, utan hela samhället.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, Christian and Tobias, please step over here. And we have some few minutes for some questions. And Joachim, you can be prepared. If there are some, I think you can sit there. If there are some questions, you're free to step up and step in and answer. As I understand, you are planning for an IPO.
Yes.
At the Spotlight.
Yes.
Market, and that will take place when?
Well, within the next weeks.
Okay. So, but you didn't really mention that, and you didn't sell that here. You will be here again for this IPO and funding?
Yeah, we will participate in other presentations which are not yet booked.
Okay.
But of course, we will join after we are listed several conferences as we joined today.
Okay, but you will have a combined listing and fundraising.
Yes.
So how much are you trying to raise?
Well, we are trying to raise in the range of 1.5 million euro.
Okay, 15 million SEK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it will not be Joachim or Absalon that will fund your development. You will be a separate company.
Yes. Yes, we are a separate company.
You are, yeah. But the assets and the staff have been acquired, but Joachim have decided to keep you, as he said, as a separate company.
Yes.
Okay, so you will operate totally independent, but still find synergies.
Exactly. So we are, from a legal point of view, totally independent. And of course, we have a cooperation agreement for different fields and of different activities to join forces with Absolicon.
Okay. So could you tell us a little bit about your cost of goods?
Yeah.
Because you are not selling production lines, but more the total product.
Yes.
So what's your cost of goods? What's your suppliers, your upstream suppliers?
Yeah. I mean, our cost of goods, we have the collector itself, the components of the collector. Then we have the balance of plant, the periphery, to connect the collector to the existing production process from our customers. And then we have the engineering for the solar collector and for the integration. And you have the installation, the engineering, and those three parts, let's say the collector, the balance of plant, and the engineering and the installation, those three parts are more or less 1/3 each.
Okay. And how do you protect your technology upstream?
We have a rather deep expertise and know-how, and we discuss this very often, should we file for innovation or not? And we file for innovation in case we are very sure that we can control if somebody infringes it. Okay. And if this is not the case, then we do not file a patent, because it's then rather difficult to control if somebody gets use of it, and it's also very, it's a certain effort to do so. Yeah. And therefore, our asset is to invest in our team, to keep our team, our core team, into the company, and to have them with a big experience and knowledge to deliver and to design, to engineer the product and the solutions and the integration.
Okay. And I guess you have deals with the upstream suppliers.
Yeah.
Do you have replacement supplies? Do you have some kind of if one supplier goes out of business or whatever, so how do you secure the supplier quality and
Yes, of course, you always try to have a second source. I mean, you don't want to depend from one company, from one supplier. So we basically, I mean, for the receiver tube, you can source them either in Italy or Spain or in China. There are at least a dozen of suppliers, mirrors for those applications, for solar concentrating applications. There are also several suppliers. And I mean, steel and metal profiles is not any problem. That's a commodity, basically. And maybe the only supplier where we don't have a secondary source now is Siemens, because we use Siemens control units and PLCs.
Okay. And you're not afraid, are you afraid of the supplier power, that they start to squeeze you?
What do you mean, Siemens?
Yeah. Buy them.
No, basically, Siemens is actually, they were mentioned as partner. I was actually at the booth of Siemens at the brewery fair in Munich, and Siemens was helping us to present our technology to the large breweries that we all know. Okay. So there is more like synergies, and there are a lot of companies seeing us building a bridge to the future. Okay. I always say, when we cooperate with the manufacturer of a steam boiler, a fossil-fired steam boiler, I say, we're the future. We can take you, dinosaur, to the next era of this planet.
Yeah. And when will we see the above 400 collector?
We can
centigrades, 400 centigrades.
I think, to our experience, we did our own statistics, requests from industry, and we have to say that the majority of requests is in a temperature range between 120 and 250. Okay. There are the very high temperature applications like glass, metal industry, and so on, so chemical industry in parts. And nowadays with this receiver tube, we can go to maximum 100 bar with steam, but you wouldn't go to those high pressures because it's rather expensive. You would go for thermal oil. And meanwhile, there is a new type of thermal oil on the market, which is good for temperatures up to 550 degrees C. So basically, the vacuum receiver manufacturers are adapting their product to this new thermal oil, and we can achieve temperatures above 500 degrees C. But basically, the large chunk of the market is below those 400 for us, definitely.
Christian, thank you very much, and good luck.
Okay,
Tobias,
thank you.
same to you.